Pete Hegseth?
Oh, yeah. So we're gonna take things real slow, and I want some crazy eye contact. Not you, you. Take your clothes off, but leave the helmets, and this isn't Pretty Woman. We're kissing. Pegging isn't new for me, friendo, but it is for Disney. Look, I've never been a natural bottom, and we're gonna move on down the hallway so we can spare a cleanup on aisle. So how's everyone feel about this?
I don't like you.
Yes, let's hold on to that attitude.
It's such an honor to have you on the show, man. Been a fan of yours for quite a while, and I'm really excited to hear your perspective on a Pete Hegseth running the military. The reason why is because I don't think there would have been an Afghanistan withdrawal in the same nightmarish and suicidal way if Pete Hegseth had been in charge. Well, what say you?
100%. I'm 100% behind Pete Hegseth. I spent the last couple of days lobbying for him. Everyone that I've spoke to is behind him. The actual veterans 100% want Pete. So I've talked to Scott Mann. I've talked to the Black Rifle Coffee guys. I've talked to Matthew Lohmeyer. I mean, everyone, even the sitting battalion commanders. I mean, Pete's obviously a smart guy, Princeton, Harvard. He's a great orator on Fox and Friends, but more importantly, he's an outsider. He's not like all the general officers that are going to get a board seat on one of the military industrial complexes. Very intelligent guy, Harvard, Princeton, great orator on Fox News. But the most important thing is that he's an outsider. He's from our generation. He's got combat experience. Every general officer of my generation has gone and sat on the board of Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon. I mean, it's systemic, right? And so Pete understands that. Pete knows that the military has to get back to a meritocracy. I've been saying for a while that we needed somebody younger. Pete's the absolute right guy. He wrote the book, Waging War on Warriors. If you read it, he outlines all the problems and the way we need to go. And every veteran that I've talked to, I mean, anyone who's who in the zoo, whether it's Scott Mann, Matthew Lohmeyer, Black Rifle Coffee guys, Eddie Gallagher. I've been calling all these guys for the last couple of days. The congressmen that I really respect, whether it's Brian Mast, Corey Mills, spoke to both of them in the last couple of days. Everybody supports Pete. So to not confirm him would just baffle the mind. We're all out here as a veteran community trying to lobby support for him. So we really hope that we can get this through because it's important. If the DOD is rotting right now on the inside, and if we don't fix it, I mean, there's a lot of things going wrong with America right now, but the crumbling of the military could overshadow all of them. It's one of those critical things that not everyone fully understands how bad it's gotten, and we absolutely need new leadership.
So you're telling me that the war fighters, not the fat armchair generals who couldn't do a push-up, the actual war fighters, that they have Pete's back. I mean, that should really ring. That should ring in the ears of any of these squishy senators.
I can't find a single warfighter that doesn't support Pete, to be quite honest with you. I was calling sitting battalion commanders in the Marine Corps the last couple of nights. Every one of them want Pete. All of them are going to get out after their command tour, which these are the guys the military should keep, but they're so disheartened by the direction. But there's like a sliver of hope if Pete gets in that we might move in the direction of a meritocracy and not everything's fair and we're watering down on a million different initiatives that aren't lethality. We need to get back to a performance-based system, and I think Pete has all the right tools and the solutions to get there.
Before we move on to a tertiary subject here, can you give a message to these senators who are very squishy? We just played Lisa Murkowski, who's one of them. Joni Ernst just came around, I think, because actually of the work that we've done, and also because Joni Ernst has an indefensible record where she voted for DEI Darth Vader, who's currently running the military. But some of these senators are still squishy. You can still get 3 senators voting against and put Pete in a very tough position, right, where you have to win over Democrats or J.D. Vance has to come in and tie break. What's your message to them?
I would say we the people that have served in the last 2 decades of war, many of these senators have voted for these wars. We resoundingly want Pete Hegseth. We need him. The military right now is at a place where not only is recruiting crumbling, going down by 30% amongst conservatives, and we're actually moving the goalposts and making recruiting smaller so it doesn't look as bad as it is. The attrition that is happening is because of the mismanagement and the poor policy decisions of the last 2 decades. And Pete Hegseth is the guy that we need to get back on track. And if they support the military at all, they have to come around and support Pete Hegseth. They're not listening to us. We as veterans, I don't represent any organization. I'm not a politician. I am a warfighter, and I speak to a lot of warfighters, and we all want Pete Hegseth.
Yes. And the reason why is because this military should be about lethality and should be about winning wars and not about propaganda, degeneracy, and pagan ideology.
I've heard Pete say, he said the thing that is said in the military a lot is diversity is our strength. That's not the truth. The meritocracy is our strength. Being the best performer on the team is our strength. So we don't care who you are as long as you can make the standard, but there has to be standards and we have to create the best team. We need to create a winning organization, and Pete understands that, and that's why it's so important to get him.
Yes. So this is a question that I have, and I'd love to be a part of it. If this is being organized, everyone can watch this little live group chat we're having right now in front of hundreds of thousands of people. Is there going to be a march? I want the march, right? I would love that look, right, of all these war fighters, all these famous veterans.
Do you know something? Because I swear to God, I haven't told anyone. It's supposed to come out today. So the answer to this is yes, there will be. It's not a march. Next Wednesday, so Congress gets out on Thursday. Next Wednesday, there will be a group of veterans walking through the U.S. Senate. I will be a part of it. All of that's going to come out today. But that's why I've been on the phone the last 3 days. Now, I know everyone's watching this, and we know Pete is kind of on the fence, but I want to make sure that our voices are heard all the way up to the end. You know, I can't maybe convince every senator what to do, but I want them to know everything we're talking about. The war fighters support Pete, and we're going to walk through, advocate, articulate. We're not protesting. We can make some pretty sound arguments. I would submit that any senator that wants to get in a room with me and talk about lethality and talk about the military and talk about the direction of where we're going, I will beat anyone in a debate. And I look forward to those conversations with all of their staffs.
Fantastic. Okay, so it's less of a march, it's more of a larger scale lobbying operation.
Yeah, well, so I thought about doing the march, but the problem is you can't control the bad actors nowadays. So it's like one and the other, right? So everyone meets, and then it's like these thousands of people that would love to be there, but then it may not even be our people. You get people that planted in there and do bad things, and it usurps the whole message. Yeah. And so as a control to that, I chose not to do that.
Okay, that makes a ton of sense. We've covered the guys who were BLM activists that were leading the charge on January 6th, and you can't control. These guys got found guilty on all 7 counts. I mean, this is real. These are BLM Antifa activists who have been unmasked and who are now in federal prison as BLM activists, and they were the first guys through the wall on January 6th. So it's very fraught actually doing this in Washington D.C. So I understand that. If there's a way to do it, Pete won't have a confirmation hearing process until the 20th. Maybe in January. Maybe there's a way to do it in a controlled manner, right? Where it's more of like less of a march and more of like a rally there on the mall, and we can show the amount of support. But I'd love to be a part of it. It'd be freaking awesome, man. Yeah. When we can put something together, maybe closer up to his actual confirmation, close to his confirmation hearing, get a bunch of senators to speak at it in favor of Pete. It'd be freaking great. Okay, fantastic. Yeah. Good. So Pete's confirmation hearing will start on January 20, 2025. Probably as soon as Trump takes his hand off the Bible, they're going to go in and start. SecDef is one of the first positions that they put in. Are you gonna be there for the confirmation hearing? You plan on like being there by Pete's side?
I'm not sure. Pete's a friend. I'm just 100% supporting him. Whether I'll be at the confirmation or not, I'm not sure. But I'm running in a lot of circles that are behind the scenes, trying to do everything we can. Do what you can when you can. And I know once Pete gets confirmed, that a lot of the right people are going to get put in the right places. So we need Pete.
Sweet. That's so awesome, man. Are you considering ever? I don't really know how it works. Like, would you consider going back into the service?
I would absolutely consider being in an administration with Pete Hegseth.
So cool. That's amazing. And it's like Biden ran you out because you dared criticize Afghanistan.
It wasn't just Biden. It was all the military officers that lack courage and they don't have the ability to push back because they're more worried about their self-advancement. And that's where the decay of the military really exists.
Yes. Do you agree, in closing here, do you agree with some of the ideas that have been floated out there to put prohibitions on generals going and working immediately for large defense companies?
I can't believe that's not a law already. And you would think that it would be just self-governed by the military. That doesn't happen. You would think that there would be some officer that held themselves accountable for Afghanistan. That didn't happen. Donahue just got his 4th star. I mean, Farrell Sullivan, the one that left the Abbey Gate open, he's still serving, still advancing. McKenzie's hiding down in Florida, getting a whole wing built for him. You would think one of these guys would say, you know what, you're right. This is a long list of obvious mistakes, but that's just not been the case. So the military officers have demonstrated that they can't govern themselves. I mean, Carter Ham in Benghazi, he's sitting in Germany watching as Americans are fighting 1v1000. He has 7 military options and he's told to stand down. What does he do? That's a moral courage case study that we can't talk about in the military. But the truth is we have senior military officers that get to those positions because they're people pleasers. And then when they get there, that's who we create. They just have no ability to push back. And it's really, I think, creating cracks in the soul of America because we're losing trust in them.
Cracks in the soul of America. You're exactly right. So, such a great point to end on here, Stu. I mean, I know the chat's going to tear me to pieces for this. I want to trust the FBI. Like, how else do I say it? I want to trust the Pentagon. I do, because I'm an American, and I got nothing. I want to assume that there's somebody watching in the dark of night over my children, and that there's a crime-fighting organization that's going to like stop the chaos and rot inside of this society. Like, I want that. And I think that can happen in my lifetime. I think we can actually restore these institutions to doing what they were meant to do, which is solving crimes, being lethal, killing bad guys, and locking them up. And I think that that's how you do it, and you do it through transparency. And I'm so glad you said that. You do it through apologizing and through saying we were wrong, man. Like, we got it wrong. That's like the first step in restoring trust.
That is the first step. And you brought up Kash Patel. I want to give one shout out. There's an FBI agent, Steve Friend. And he resigned on some very morally courageous grounds. He's the only one that I've seen it in my generation. If Kash gets in, Steve Friend has to be brought back, in my opinion. And I just want to put that out there.
He's our boy. He was repping Kash hard in the paint, bro, on the program, on the stream, just like a couple days ago. So Steve Friend's a dude. Absolutely. We could change everything, and we could restore faith if you were just honest with the American people. Enough lies. God bless you. Where can people find your work? We're going to put up your X account right now.
Yeah. So AuthenticAmericans.com is my website. It's basically like a brochure of all the op-eds I've written and different things, and it links to all my social media. But like I said, so you're outcycling me here. This is going to come out. I have a landing page for what we're going to do, so you can check out my website now. But there's going to be a video and a couple more news hits that are going to come out today. And essentially, next Wednesday, we plan to have small groups walk through the halls of the U.S. Senate and advocate and articulate for the person that we need to lead the Secretary of Defense, which would be Pete Hegseth.
Good. Maybe you can find out. Maybe Pete Hegseth can explain to us what's going on with all the drones over New Jersey and Philadelphia and America. Sure would like to know what the hell is going on. It's like, please tell us what's going on. Like, that's pretty. Don't we fund you? Isn't this like the point? Yeah, aren't we shareholders in this whole thing? Yeah, exactly. The chat's screaming about it, so we're gonna keep asking those questions. Hey, Alex, let's pin something up to the chat about it. Stuart Scheller, God bless you, man. I hope Pete pulls you in, man. I hope the next time we meet is in the Pentagon, brother.
Same.
All right. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.